Hello. Hello. It's me. I'm just wondering if after all this time we have to go over. There's just one person. Is that one person me, or is that one person someone else? Hmm. Hmm. Ah. I don't know. Anyway, welcome to my channel, to my live chat question and answer quarantine special. There's only I've had a few questions come in advance, so I'm going to go through all those. I didn't really read them in advance so that I could actually just respond to them as I read them. But before I start, I'm just going to quickly just talk about what it feels like to have done quarantine for 2 weeks all alone. I don't know how many people watching this have done quarantine alone rather than with other people. And I saw someone on Facebook this week saying, "Oh, does any of my single friends want to take my kids and experience quarantine? What it's like with them?" And I was like, "Yes, I would, of course." I find it quite incredible that some people would be so insensitive to think that they're in a worse off position when they're with a family than someone that is sat on their own watching, um, doing absolutely nothing on their own. And also for the first week or so, I was quite sick. Now it's really weird because I don't ever get sick, but this is now the second time I've been sick this year. And this time I think that the sickness might have actually been the virus. Now I did not have a cough, but what I did have was a fever at the start, and then I was knocked out for like a full week. And I mean a full week, but just with tiredness. There was nothing else apart from tiredness. And it was really, really weird. And then I found out that lots of other people from my work had had this as well. Now, I've never had a virus knock me out like this. I was sleeping like 18 to 20 hours a day for a few days. And then I tried to go back to work on Monday. I say go back to work. We were all working from home at the moment. And I went back to work, did like a long conference call with my department. And then I was like, I just need to go to sleep. And then I slept again. And then I was just out for about 48 hours. So it's been, I was absolutely shattered, completely shattered. So yeah, it's been a weird first couple of weeks in isolation. I have literally seen one person for about 5 seconds in these 2 weeks, and I'm what you might call a natural extrovert. So it's been pretty tough and tricky for me. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to do this. Thank you to those people that are watching, who are logged on and listening. So I'm going to answer some questions. I've had a few come in. Most of them, I think, I did scan them rather than read them, and I think they're mostly about the TV shows that I've reacted to. So I'm going to have a quick read through them, and I'm just going to answer them as I get to them. If anyone else that's here now, hi. If anyone else has any questions live in the chat, then feel free to post them, and I'll probably prioritize those because you're here now. So let's look here. So the first thing, the first question that someone asked was about animated shows. They said they noticed there weren't any animated shows on my list. I don't recall if you were watching any, and was wondering if there are any you'd consider reacting to or are already a fan of. Hi, Laura. I hope you stay safe, happy, and healthy. Animated shows. I've got this really weird thing about animated shows. That's my friend Laura. If anyone watched my Amazing Race videos from September, Laura was in the Amazing Race videos, and she's watching. Hi. Anyway, Animated shows. Yeah, I've got this real thing about animated shows, and I don't know what it is that I don't like about them, but I've never really liked them very much. I was quite a late developer into watching TV and films, really. I didn't really watch very much at all for a long, long time. And then when I did, it was always about the acting. It was always about like the expressions on the faces of the people that I was watching. And then I tried to watch some animated shows, and I was just like, it's not the same when I can't see these people like actually physically in front of me reacting and acting in front, and their facial expressions and stuff like that. So I've never really found an animated show that I've liked. I did not, especially, and oh god, it sounds really awful, especially like anything that's supposed to be funny. Bye. Yeah, so yeah, I don't really like many animated shows. I didn't even like The Simpsons when I was a kid. I didn't, I've just never really liked any. I've never tried manga, really. I know that there's quite a few manga fans that go on YouTube and stuff like that. But manga, it doesn't really appeal to me. I'm trying to think if there's anything animated that I've ever liked apart from when I was like a kid. I cannot. I tell you one thing I loved when I was a kid: Dungeons and Dragons, the animated TV show. That was cool, but no, I don't think I particularly want to react to anything animated unless there is something that is absolutely exceptional that I absolutely have to. So anyway, that's my answer to that question. Do you have any suggestions for shows that your viewers should binge? So far, which of the series that you mentioned above is your favorite? Well, I think anyone that knows very much about me. Oh, yeah, I love Dungeons and Dragons too. Though I can't remember all of the characters' names. Presto, was he the little one with the? Oh no, was Presto the magician? Is that right? I think he was called Eric. Was he called Eric? But when he wasn't Presto. Anyway, what's my favorite show? I mean, out of all those shows, I think most people will know that my favorite show. I'm sorry. Oh, that's the one I thought you meant. That's the one I thought you meant. Sorry, Eric. Yeah, red hair and glasses. Why was the red hair and glasses guy your favorite? Anyway, this is we're gonna get the waylaid and talk about other things. My favorite show, Doctor Who. Everyone that knows me knows that Doctor Who is my favorite TV show, and it will continue to be my favorite TV show. I will be absolutely astonished if any of the shows that I've been watching will overtake Doctor Who. Obviously, there are bad seasons, there are bad times of Doctor Who. It's been running for what is it, 57 years on and off. But even in the years that it wasn't on TV, it was, even when it wasn't on TV, it had books being written, and I mean, it's been constant. And there are some really bad times in that 57 years, but the ups are just right up there. It's a great show. It's got so many good moments in it. Oh, good question. What's your favorite Doctor? While I'm on the Doctor, so I was born in 1982. So I was 7 years old when Doctor Who finished the first time. And I do remember it from then. And I remember Sylvester McCoy. So Sylvester McCoy was my first Doctor. And like lots of people, my first Doctor is kind of my favorite Doctor in a way. In terms of the later series, my favorite Doctor is David Tennant. I just think he absolutely nailed it. I think he got it absolutely perfect all the way through. And I also really, really like William Hartnell as well, right back from the early days. I think he was great fun as someone that wasn't great fun, ironically. But yeah. So yeah, Doctor Who, my favorite show. Someone said, so do you have any suggestions for shows that your viewers should binge? That's a really, I mean, I mean, Doctor Who. There you go. If you've never watched it, then you should watch it. Um, one of my favorite shows of the last few years, and a friend of mine is starting to binge it literally right now, is The Leftovers. It was based on a Tom Perrotta novel starring Justin Theroux, and it also features one of the Doctors, Christopher Eccleston. It is an amazing TV show. It ran for 3 seasons. It was exactly the right length of time. One thing I think that America often gets wrong is that they run TV shows for far, far, far too long. Ironically, after I just said that Doctor Who's run for 57 years. But with The Leftovers, they got it bang on. 3 seasons was just right. And each season was very, very different to the previous one. And it was just a great, great show. I've read the book, and the TV show is better than the book, which is obviously a rare thing to say. But yeah, it's great. I love it. Cool. Other shows that are worth binging. Oh, I mean, Netflix is just so clever, isn't it? The way that they produce shows that are binge worthy. I loved Sense8. That was great. So I like the fact that these shows have endings, even though Sense8 was kind of a rushed ending because they wanted to do a longer time. But I like the fact that you can go from the beginning to the end and you get a finish in those shows. That works really well for me. You didn't understand the ending of The Leftovers. There's lots of different interpretations to the ending of Leftovers. I don't really want to discuss it because hopefully some people might watch this and then go, oh, I want to watch it. But yeah, the ending of The Leftovers, I thought it was very clever, the end of The Leftovers, because it was left kind of open, but if you wanted to, you could interpret it whichever way you wanted, and I thought that was quite clever. Cool. What else? What other questions have we got here? Okay. Will you be doing Anne with an E? Oh no, I've missed. I'll come back to that question. So, will you be doing Anne with an E just until quarantine ends and you can go back to Buffy? Well, I hadn't thought about what I'm going to do in this time. Hello all. Anne with an E was probably not on my radar, really. It's based on Anne of Green Gables, is that right? My mum was a big Anne of Green Gables fan when I was a kid. She liked that. I remember it being on Channel 4 or something when I was a kid as well. I'll be honest, Anne with an E doesn't really appeal to me. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me if it's an amazing show and I should be watching it. But it's not probably the first thing on the top of my list. I'm also sort of keen at the moment to try and watch a couple of shows where I'm not reacting, just because, honestly speaking, like sometimes it can be quite draining, knowing that you can't watch a show unless you're reacting to it, unless you're filming, unless you're then going to edit it afterwards. And so I started watching You on Netflix this week, just so that I had something to watch that I'm not reacting to, and I quite liked it. I can be girly. It's okay. It just doesn't really appeal to me. It's not because I'm a boy, I don't think. I'm just not sure it's not the show that I want particularly. How are you holding up through this? Well, I kind of said at the beginning of all this, it's been really tough actually, because I'm obviously most of my friends, most of my family, most of my acquaintances, most of my colleagues, pretty much everyone that I know, apart from maybe 1 or 2 people, is in isolation with a group of people. So minimum 2 to 5 people that they're living with. And I'm not. So I've not seen anyone for nearly 2 weeks. I was meant to go into work earlier this week, but because I was sick, I couldn't go into work. I wasn't allowed to leave the flat. So that was tough. Yeah, so it's been a really, really tough couple of weeks, and I imagine it will only get tougher. I'm just glad that I'm not feeling sick now, so I can do something like this, and I feel good. And I'm really hopeful that if I have had the virus, that I'll be able to come out and, go back to work quicker than some people, because I'm immune to it. Who knows? Um, I think I might have done, yeah. We don't know for sure, but bear in mind I'm in central London, um, which is very has been hit pretty hard now. I was working publicly in a building with 2,000 people and traveling to work for 45 minutes for a long time. Um, so the likelihood of picking it up was pretty high. And then quite a few people from my work have had very similar symptoms, and they've been very odd symptoms. And that, do you know that symptom that everyone's been talking about where you can't taste or smell things properly? I've never had that ever. I've never had that symptom with any cold that I've ever had properly. It was the weirdest symptom. I swear I could not taste it, or I couldn't. I was smelling things, tasting. It was so weird. It tasted, but not properly. Oh, look it up. Loads of people have had it. Loads of people have had that symptom. It's really weird. Oh, thanks, Omega. I'm really glad that I've got this trained AI program to interact with me and make me feel better. Anyway, no, I'm fine. It's weird. Like, I'm okay with being a single person generally. I'm like, obviously, it would be nice to be in a relationship sometimes, but being in this single situation is very different to being single any other time. Yeah, it's been really weird. I mean, yeah, I mean, it would, yeah. Anyway, when do I go back to work? I've actually finished work today, as in I've been working from home. And now we have 2 weeks off anyway because schools are finished for 2 weeks. So yeah, so at least 2 weeks, and then we just don't know how long it's going to be until we go back to work. Most teachers are quite sociable people, believe it or not. We like to be around people. So working from home is very hard. I find it very hard to motivate myself. So that's been quite tricky, especially when I wasn't feeling great. Oh, well, I'm sorry. That's it. You've been ruled out. No cartoons. No cartoons. Yeah, I am a teacher. Yeah. I also don't know what you look like. I mean, you look like a cartoon. So, what do I teach? I teach maths. We call it maths here with a plural. In the US, you would call it math without an S. And it's weird, actually. Whenever I tell Americans that I teach maths, they always go, "Well, what kind of math?" And I'm like, "I just teach maths. We teach all maths. We don't like some. I think in America you teach like a specialism, like you teach calculus or you teach geometry or whatever. But in the UK, we teach all of it. So we teach calculus, geometry, algebra, or whatever you call your courses. We don't call them that. We just call it maths, and then you do an exam in maths." So 11 to 18-year-olds in the UK, I guess that's high school in the US. Yeah, like it's junior high and high school, I think, in the US. But for us, it's 11 to 18-year-olds. Our high school runs from 11 years old to 18 years old. It's quite a big range. Cool. What's your favorite song to sing at the top of your lungs? So my favorite song to sing at the top of my lungs. I like singing almost any song at the top of my lungs, to be honest. I was actually thinking about doing a little mini concert at some point when I'm bored, and maybe doing it live on here. So I've got my piano. If you don't know, I play the piano. There's my piano. So yeah, I play a lot of music, mostly pop songs. But what's my favorite one to sing at the top of my voice? Probably something like Radiohead Creep, because that's such an angsty kind of song. It's not my normal style at all. Like I wouldn't normally do that kind of rocky kind of indie music like that. But for me, that song is like it's good. Oh, okay. 11 to 18-year-olds, by the way, I absolutely love them. I think they are, I mean, they get better after they're about 14, 15. But those kids, like 16 to 18-year-olds in particular, they are just amazing. Um, they are just incredible. And I actually really miss them already. And they've had a really shit time because they've just found out that they're not going to get their external exams that they were supposed to have. Um, and we're going to have to give them teacher assessed grades, which is kind of unheard of in the UK. I don't know if I'm a cool teacher. And good luck training to teach art. Oh my God, I couldn't think of anything that I'd like to teach less. But I'm in awe of people that can teach very practical subjects. I actually teach drama as well, a little bit, because they were short-staffed in my school this year. And drama is not my. I mean, I act outside of my work, so I know a lot about drama. But teaching drama is really, really hard. It's much harder than teaching math. Definitely. 2020, the year that wasn't quite correct. Someone said a question about Buffy. Since you've made it past Innocence on Buffy, what are your theories about what the show will be like going forward? Well, I don't know a total. I don't know. I don't know any. I mean, I don't know anything about what happens next. What I do know is there's a spin-off that is about Angel. I don't know if he comes back to being good again or not. I don't know. I don't know very much. What I would say is I hope it goes down this darker route, because I enjoy the darker stuff a lot more. It's, yeah, I mean, Innocence was a great episode, like really, really great. Everything, has built up to this point, really. And I don't want any yeah. What? I'm confused. Are you telling me not to give spoilers, or are you telling other people not to give spoilers? You're telling other people not to give spoilers, right? So I don't want any spoilers further than Innocence. In season 2, that's where we got to, and I can't believe it's been ages. It's been ages since we watched. It's been ages since we got to watch another episode, and it's really annoying because we got to such a good place. But no, what do I think is going to happen? Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but what I really hope is that it's going to continue down this sort of darker path. I imagine it probably will until at least the end of the season, and then maybe we'll get some lightness again in some of the early parts of seasons, because I feel like that happens a lot in TV shows, that they tend to go down a darker path towards the second half of the season, and then there's a bit of lightness later on. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I'm really enjoying it. I probably, if I'm being completely honest, I'm probably enjoying it the least of the three of me, Sebastian, and Ashley. But I mean, Sebastian obviously is his favorite TV show of all time. Ashley has really bought in a little bit more than I have to some of the character stuff, I think. I'm still not quite there, and I want to really love it. And I like it a lot, but I haven't got to really, really love it territory yet. What would I like to see in future Buffy seasons? Well, I much prefer Angel as a bad guy, so I'm hoping that stays like that. But the main thing is I just want there to be loads more darker stuff, because the darker it is, the more I enjoy it. More death, more, more stuff like that. No, they've not had to postpone their wedding. They haven't got a date for the wedding yet. It was always planned to be a couple of years down the line. So, yeah, a little bit of time for them still. I've got a couple of weddings I'm supposed to be going to in the summer, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we'll be able to get to those. But we'll see. Ah, the show aged along with Buffy aging. That sounds like what they did with Harry Potter as well, right? That's interesting. I was interested actually. One thing I was wondering, obviously, again, no spoilers, is like surely there'll become a point pretty soon where they're too old to be at school. Do we get to a point where they're no longer at school? But again, don't tell me because I kind of don't want to know, even though it would only be a very minor spoiler. But I was thinking to myself, surely they can't be doing 7 years of being in, high school. That doesn't make sense unless you're in the UK, like I said. I didn't love Buffy until season 5. My friends spent years trying to get me into it, but for some reason I didn't until later seasons. Now I enjoy all the seasons. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I am excited to see where it goes. I do wonder if the fact that I'm seeing it so much later is not helpful in some ways. So, yeah. They're all in a nursing home. Your favorite season is season 6. I think that season 2 is actually one of Sebastian's favorite seasons, or maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, since you made it past Innocence, what are your theories about what the show will be like going forward? Okay, personal. Would you like a list of shows to binge that most people don't know about but are amazing? Have you considered calling local shelters, seeing if they need a foster? If so, dog or cat? I haven't considered doing that. No. The reason I wouldn't foster a dog or cat is because I'm too selfish. So once this is all over, I will go back to normal and I will go out 5 or 6 nights a week, and I will not have the time to look after a pet. I would be a terrible, terrible, terrible father to a dog or cat. If I had my own child, then I may be a little bit different. I hope. But with pets, I would be terrible. I would just be too selfish. I wouldn't be good enough for it. So I couldn't go and get a dog or cat. Do you do online gaming? I don't, but I hear it's a good way to still communicate in a sort of active way with others. I've been doing some. Hi. I've been doing some games over the internet with my friends. So again, if you remember The Amazing Race, anyone that's seen that on my channel, my friends Katie and Craig are big board game enthusiasts, and they live together. And so they've been filming a board game in their room. And then I've been playing it through the internet with them and saying, can you move this piece here? And can you do this? And yeah, so that's been quite fun. And last night we were playing some Jackbox games. So that was quite good. So yeah, so I've been communicating with people every day. Any other questions that I've missed? Already assumed video calls and you should do an updated version. You should do an updated version of the Expanse theme song, maybe with vocals. Could be fun. I get psyched every time I hear your rendition in the intros. I suggested it a while back. That's really cute. Thank you. I'm glad you get psyched when you hear my rendition on my piano. I put that together in about 10 seconds. Well, not 10 seconds, but 1 minute, one afternoon when I was just trying to put together my Expanse reactions, and I just wanted to make the beginning a little bit more interesting. And yeah, it worked. It's fairly easy to play. I don't think you'll be getting me doing my Norwegian vocals over the top, though. I don't think that would work very well. So, Lost in Space. Have you ever tried the original Lost in Space? Well, the reason I did Lost in Space as my first reaction show on YouTube was exactly because I remember watching it from when I was a kid. So I loved it when I was a kid. I used to watch it all the time. I used to watch that and Planet of the Giants. Was it called Land of Giants? Planet of the Giants? I can't remember what it was called. But those kind of shows when I was a kid, all the time. Was it black and white? It was black and white, right? And I didn't mind watching black and white shows when I was a kid. It didn't bother me at all. I know some kids did. Yeah, it was fine, and it was really fun. I loved it. But I didn't remember a huge amount about it. I just remember them always being on a planet and someone always getting attacked by something, and then they'd save them, and then at the end of the episode, that would be it. I didn't really remember things like Dr. Smith being like this big badass bad guy, and so that was like a new thing for me. I hardly remembered the robot was yeah, it was lots of things I didn't remember. Um, Oh, I've never heard of Time Tunnel, but oh, Lost in Space was mixed black and white in color. Interesting. I can't remember what I saw when I was a kid, but it may have been black or white. It may have been color. I really can't remember. But I definitely don't remember having a crush on Will when I was younger. That would be a bit weird because I think, well, I don't think I knew I was gay then. To be fair, the first black and white season was so serious. Interesting. I, I was able to clock the camp of Dr. Smith. I don't remember Dr. Smith from back then at all. I do remember them now, obviously. I mean, she's ridiculous now. I have not seen the film Lost in Space, but I've heard really bad things, so I'll continue avoiding it. But I do not in the current Lost in Space. I've been enjoying season 2. I haven't finished it yet. I need to watch some more of it. But I've been enjoying it a lot more than season 1. I think it has gone up a step, like someone said. Hmm. Who was supposed to be killed off? Dr. Smith. Interesting. Does anyone else have any more questions before I go? Because I think I've run out of my questions here. Just make sure I haven't missed any. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to ask some questions. If you've got any more questions for me, it can be about anything in the world, then I'm very happy to answer them. Otherwise, I will head off for the end of my live stream. Looks like no one else has any more questions. So, guys, I'm up to date now with Muppets. Oh, so last year I did a play called Hand to God, and in Hand to God, I had to play I was playing a 15-year-old boy, so that took some acting. But he was a 15-year-old boy who his mum made him make puppets with him in a puppet. What do they call them? Like a puppet club in a church. And I had a puppet, and he was called Tyrone. So last year I was quite good at this because I had to learn. But I was Tyrone. I can't remember. I can't remember the voice that I did for him, but he was quite evil. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah. And I had to do 2 different accents because I was supposed to be like a southern boy called Jason. So I did a southern accent like this. I talk like this, and then I'll be like this. I'm being Tyrone now. And they were quite different. So I did not make him, no. Someone else made him. He was a normal puppet, and Tyrone during the play he becomes evil. It's kind of like a dark comedy in which the reason that I get the puppet is because I'm grieving for my father, and the premise is that Jason, who has the puppet, Jason Jason is not really able to speak up for himself, but he speaks up through Tyrone, and Tyrone is actually quite evil, and he brings out all the nastiness that is in Jason. What was the question? So anyway, why did I bring up that? Oh, Muppets. Yeah, love the Muppets. They're great, fantastic. Yeah, love them. Really, really fun, cute. I particularly love Kermit and Miss Piggy. They're great. I know they're kind of obvious, but they are great. Eurovision, will I be watching one from the archives on YouTube this year instead of the real thing? So actually, it's funny you should say that, because Sebastian literally called me about 45 minutes ago, just before I started this Q&A. And he said, oh, we're going to be watching Eurovision 2010 later. Do you want to watch it with us? Obviously, from the safety of my own home. So they're going to be watching it and rating it later. So maybe, I don't know. I'm maybe not in the mood to watch Eurovision. I find Eurovision is so fun and so silly that maybe this is not the time to be watching Eurovision. maybe, I don't know. Maybe if I was with other people, I would want to watch it. But on my own, I'm not really in the mood for it. So, yeah. What? What are you talking about? Huh? What are you looking at? What year are you thinking about, Ian? The year that I went to Eurovision was 2006, I think. It was in Athens, and that was great. I loved it. So. I can't use my Hobbit for an April Fool's reaction for another 363 days. So I guess I just missed that boat, didn't I? Oh, what am I reading right now? Good question. I didn't finish it, but I got to the last 2 chapters of a really, so our school book club, let me get the book. Yeah, the school book club book. So we have a school book club, and we've been doing it a virtual book club at the moment. Was this book, Sally Rooney, Normal People? I no, didn't enjoy it. I didn't even finish it. I got to the last 20 pages and I still didn't finish it. I was so bored. I did not enjoy it at all. It's called Normal People. It's about 2 normal people. It's really dull. I did not enjoy it. Hey Leslie, how are you? Yeah, so I would not recommend it. Though, I mean, it was longlisted for the Man Booker Prize, Waterstones Book of the Year, Irish Novel of the Year, the shortlisted for the International Dublin Literary Award. So, I mean, people love it. But when we talked about it in our book club, there were lots of people that liked it, but no one seemed to really understand why it got so many views, to be honest. So anyway, who knows? Exactly. Normal People. I mean, it's not an exciting title for a book, is it? Let's be honest. But there we go. Anyway, I'm going to start heading off unless anyone's got any last questions. Yeah, they're good, Leslie. Sebastian and Ashley are together, looking after each other, and they're having a good time. But yeah, not with me, unfortunately. So no more Buffy for the foreseeable future. Thank you. Thanks very much for all those people that have asked questions. Thank you to those people that have interacted as well. It's been lovely chatting to you all, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye.